Hi, welcome to the small shed. This week I'm making a small turntable to go in a spray booth. I'll see you in a minute. Now, I've been wanting to spray stuff in here for a long while. I know that whenever I get a spray can out, it just sends the particle meter into paroxysms of anger and everything turns red because you get all this stuff in the air and it doesn't go away quickly. So I had been thinking a long while about building a spray booth that would fit on top of the, either on top of the downdraft table or on top of this unit, so that I could just swap out the chop saw and use the housing. But when I was down at Taunton the other day at the railway do, I picked up a second-hand spray booth for £15, which is an absolute bargain if it works. I didn't check it at the time, which is probably a bit stupid, but I was somewhat busy doing other things, but I saw it and grabbed it. The guy said, well, it hasn't got the hose on the back, and I thought, well, I'm pretty damn certain that will either be 100mm off my extract stuff, or it'll be tumble dryer hose. So I don't see that as a problem. We can, I'm sure, get some sort of adaptation on that. It's 120 actually, so it will need a collar doing for that. Have a look, see what we've got. Oh, so that just folds down. Ah, now I was going to be making a lot of stuff to fill the sides in, but it looks like I'm not going to have to. There's a filter on the back, which I know I can get the material that I've been using for my little air cleaner in here. And somewhere, I'm assuming there's a power cable. Yes, it's in the side, tucked away. So I'm just going to give it a quick. Oh, I see, it's got a, wow, it's like a little vacuum cleaner thing that coils in. Getting impressed so far, it works. Something's happening anyway. Oh yes, so it's doing exactly what I would possibly do myself, using a sort of like a bathroom extractor type fan. Just gives a little bit of negative pressure in the front end, and not sure on the two positions on the switch. Now, as you can see, I've been spraying in here again. Couple of models for a colleague. The two problems at the moment, one is that the spray goes everywhere, which I think we've resolved with the little air filter. That should solve that problem. And the other, of course, is that it's difficult to spray all the way around something. I've got it on a block. It's quite likely that in the course of moving it, I'm going to end up touching it and then spoiling paint, or it'll fall off because it's not unsafe. The higher I go up to get easier to turn it, the more unsafe it becomes. So I think that's the job for today. We've got the little spray booth. What I'm going to do is to build effectively a little turntable to go in the front of it, and hopefully that will solve that problem as well. So the air filter comes apart like that. What I think I'm going to do is to make a piece of ply that will go into there like that. I want the turning part to be relatively near the front, although I might get some spray going out sideways. I think it'll be the best way forward for that. And then I've bought a little Lazy Susan mechanism off eBay or somewhere, I think it was eBay, that will effectively mount on top of the square ply. That will at least keep some of this clean as well. and then there'll just be a rotating turntable on top of it, so it's not a difficult build. It's only 2 bits of wood. One thing I hadn't thought about, which I've got to think about now, it's one of those things you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have a sudden thought. If you screw that onto there like that, that's fine, but then you've actually got to screw that one onto there, and it's quite difficult to get a screwdriver in there. 2 options: I can either put some bolts through with nuts on and then just drop down on it, but what I think I'll do, because this doesn't matter, none of this really matters, it doesn't have to be high quality timber or anything, all I need to do is pick a point on that radius somewhere like there that I can just move through, put a big hole through there, and then from underneath I can drop a screw in and tighten it up. So we'll start with the base, 260 by 385. And while I'm at it, I may as well use this cheap Chinese plywood that I've been using. This was recycled from where we went and got it up in Birmingham. It's been reused once or twice in the shed for things on the cycle cart. May as well give it a final resting place in the turntable mechanism. First bit done, so I can sort out a centre line, which I need to do, and I really then need to see what I want to do with turntable size. My first thought was to keep it to that size, and that way the piece that is here is then something that I don't have a problem with storing. Hoping it might go in there actually. Maybe not, it's just a thought. One thing I hadn't noticed when I was doing the initial look at this, I was talking about having to put lights in and things. I noticed actually there is a light up there, so I either haven't found the on-off switch for it, or it's broken and needs mending, but at least I don't have to bother with LED tape and stuff. So we want the circle now, 25mm, 250mm, and then we can move on from there. I've marked the 125mm back from the front to give me the 250mm diameter coming in on there. Marked out where the actual base will sit and where I need to put the screw holes in, and then I've just marked that position there, which is where I'll need to put a fairly big, I'll probably just push a forcing a bit through it just to be able to come back up, put the screws in on the underneath. Right, time to crack out the old katsu and the circle cutting jig and get ourselves a 250mm circle cut. just drill the hole right through the centre of the base as well, and then that will use the hole that we did with the circle jig to centre it all up, and from there I can just come in underneath and wait until the connections come round and pop the screw in. That's got me where I want it to be. Got my little turntable in. That's a relatively quick and easy build. It's taken about an hour and a half to do that. That will now do exactly what I want, which is to be able to put something in there and not have to touch it, but have good access all the way around it, and it can be lifted up a little bit higher if I want to. That is very much the sort of way you could build a decent one, if you like. This is just made out of scrap plywood, but the principles are exactly the same if you're making a lazy Susan for the table, only that you'd probably do 2 circles, maybe one slightly bigger than the other, but 2 circles, and you wouldn't want a hole in the middle. So the best thing to do would be to get like a piece of junk plywood like this, put on top of your decent bit of wood, just drill a hole in that, stick it to the top with double-sided tape or something, router your circle out, and then come back afterwards and take it off, and you've got a top piece without a hole in it. In this instance it didn't matter anyway, but it's easy enough as a job to do. These mechanisms are available from a few pounds to quite a lot of pounds. In this instance I wanted something cheap and cheerful, but it's whatever you want to make of it. So that's it, another build done. That one was pretty simple. It's again used scrap material more than anything, and as I said, it's the sort of thing you can make for a decent job with hardwood. Very much the same principles. Hope it was of interest. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be doing something different. Look forward to seeing you then. Bye.